Welcome back. So this is week 14 of
Yes.
CSAP. I can't believe that it's already week 14.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think how we first started and where we're at now.
And we're like and we're like halfway. It's
Exactly.
not even actually, but oh my goodness, it's crazy. Once again, I know we said this a couple times in the previous podcasts. CSAP is a lot. And it's good. It's all really good. It's just a lot more than I was anticipating, which is great. So,
Right.
all right, let's talk about the big thing that happened this week for pretty much everybody. ARP number 2.
Yeah.
How do you feel that it went? ARP, just for the sake of posterity, is assessed role play.
So we did our second assessed role play. I believe it went well. Had the opportunity to present security solutions for a university, and in presenting that solution, there was a lot of research that went into it because I wanted to, kind of pick the right solution, and because I'm going into the services or software segment, I wanted to put in the right services and all that. So trying to pick which ones I thought would work best was probably the hardest part of the whole thing. But once I did, from the feedback I got, I was told the solutions were good. I presented that part well. I do need to work on how I present the services portion, since that's where I'm going to be going.
I'm about to say, to be fair, we haven't really, we had that one session with Ray, absolute teddy bear of a man, but we only had the one. So I think it's relatively fair that's a place to work on, just because we need to work on it. That's fair.
Absolutely. I haven't had much training on it yet, but it's soon to come. And then once January comes around, we're going to be into on job experience, OJE. Yeah, or stretch assignments as some people call it. So it's going quick, man. But ARP was great. Loved it. How was it for you?
I think I did quite similar with my ARP. I think it went really well. I ended up doing a lot more because I knew that because it was an ARP, I didn't need to know literally everything about what I was talking about. I just needed to be confident in the solution that I was proposing. So, by the way, did you go with a cloud-based solution? I'm assuming everyone did.
Yeah.
For your networking, did you change them to a cloud-based solution?
So mine was hybrid, actually, because
okay.
Yeah, I figured since they were a university, I still thought having something on-prem would still be good for them, and added cloud with that. So that was mine.
Okay, that's interesting. For mine, and this is what I was kind of getting at, I like analogies, and so super early on, because the person that we were talking to in the fiction of the roleplay was a chief innovation officer. And so I says to her that, listen, before you can eat your dessert, you need to have your dinner. And so that was the whole point of my presentation, was
Good
that, thank you, was that the networking and security is the dinner, and then we talked about some of the fun stuff, the dessert, afterwards, right?
Nice.
Now, the main critique that she gave me was that I think you did great, but it felt like you were building me a menu rather than a story. It needs to be less about the options that you're giving me and more about the here's what you should be doing, like a little bit more definitive. So,
Yes.
And I think that's valid criticism, so I'll definitely be taking that forward. All right, so moving swiftly on. The next thing that we have on our itinerary to talk about today is next week. It's RTP trip. How you feel?
Man, I'm excited.
I'm really excited to finally meet a lot of these people in person. You know what I mean?
So for those that don't know, in our team, some of us are remote, and we have some that already live right there in RTP in Raleigh, North Carolina. And so for us that are remote, we're going to be flying to RTP, and we're going to meet people in person for the first time, meet our team in person. So I'm excited, man. This is going to be fun.
I'm about to say, we're doing, because what was it? It was on the Tuesday, we're doing the volunteer at the horse ranch, I think, the horse corral.
Yep.
I believe that's Tuesday. They also have plans for an escape room and dinners and stuff, and I'm like, heck yeah, dude, that sounds awesome. It is actually interesting. By the way, side aside, have you been to a Cisco office yet?
I have. I went to, because I'm in Maryland, I went to the one in DC.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm gonna be among the only remote people who doesn't have a badge.
You don't have your badge yet?
No, I haven't gone to an office.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, because I realized it today because I was getting ready to like start packing and stuff and just making like a mental checklist, and I was like, wait, how am I getting in the building? And yeah, I don't have a badge. I haven't needed one because I haven't gone to an office yet. So yeah.
Got it. Okay, because you have to get your badge from the office for remote people. They won't mail it for.
They won't mail it to you because it's like security clearance and stuff. So apparently that's something that I'm going to be doing on Monday before class. So I already reached out to Miss Gia about that. So I'll take care of all that jazz.
Good.
But anywho,
I'll let you in.
thank you. I appreciate. I'm just standing out there for like, what is it? The ILT is like 4 hours long. I'm just standing out there. Like, I wanted to touch upon some of the actual, well, the main thing that we actually learned over the course of this last month, which was the Cisco security architecture and all of the suites therein. How do you feel about it?
I need work, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cisco security. I like this I like all of the products and what we've learned in regards to it. Learning about SASE, learning about the Cisco umbrella, secure workload, secure email, XDR, you know, all of these different things. But it is a lot. It is a lot all at once.
It's a big security portfolio.
It is. Now I can understand why we are how we're big in that space, how we have such huge market share. But learning it, it's a lot. I'll be honest, it is a lot. But I do feel that I'm better than I was a few weeks ago.
I mean, that's really all they can ask, because it's nice to get the familiarity where it's like, oh, I recognize this or I recognize that. Yeah. I will say that I found myself really enamored with the like cybersecurity much more than I would have expected. Because, you know, the entire time I've been here at CSAP, I'm like, dude, I'm groovy with whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I can excel at whatever you want me to do. I'm just like, you know, trying to figure out my way in the world. And I'm excited about services once we finally get to those lessons. But of the stuff we've learned so far, I think cybersecurity is really interesting for whatever reason. I was describing to one of the engineers that we were in class with, they were like, wow, you really seem to get all this like malware and cybersecurity stuff. And I made the joke of like, yeah, it's just Digimon, you know, it's just Pokemon, dude. Just all the little viruses. They all have their own name and they all do their own thing. It's really easy. And he laughed at that. It was pretty funny.
Like the analogy. That's so good.
So I wanted to kind of wrap this up today, keep it nice and tight for you.
Sure.
You had mentioned something about segments earlier. What was that about?
The CSAP program is a year-long program. For those who don't know, okay? And we're in the first 6 months phase of it, which is the learning phase, right? We're learning about the products, things of that nature. The second 6 months are your stretch assignments where we'll be doing the job, but from more of a shadowing standpoint, but still
learning, right? Because it's on the job experience,
Yeah. So after that year is up, even though we're going to go in software and services, we may have a choice as far as which segment we'll go into. So you have public sector, enterprise, commercial, and
what was do you think the government sector has services? I guess so, right?
They do. I actually just spoke with someone yesterday. Shout out to Katie Ray. She was phenomenal. So public sector is broken up into Fed, and then there's SLED, which state and local education.
I was about to say education.
Education. Yeah. I can't think of what the D is, but she's in the Fed side, and so I was curious how that worked as far as services with Fed. But from what I could gather, and just to mention real quick, they love having an expert there that can help them implement whatever product that they're buying. So having that expert will be considered that service that we would add on to what they're purchasing.
Okay.
But yeah, so the segment, so I'm considering public sector Fed as my first choice.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and then enterprise as my second choice right now. Now that might flip, you know, I'm still learning and everything, but that's what I'm considering right now.
It's a very interesting conversation to have because we do need to have it. Because once again, we're already like pre-hired in the, the software and services specifically, but we still have to pick a segment. And I don't know, I will admit, I've been kind of slacking on that a little bit, like having these conversations, just because it's like, when I hear the GES, like the global enterprise segment, that's like really heavy hitting stuff. And I'm like, oh boy, that seems like really high pressure and exciting, but high pressure. And then you talk about like commercial, where it's a little bit lower pressure, but you have so much that you're working on, you know? You have like so many contracts that you're interpreting. And so it's one of those things where it's like there's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So now that you mention it, I think that's what I should be talking to people about more. Just figuring out, hey, which segment do you think I should be in? Hey, tell me about your segment, you know? That's a really good idea. I should do that.
Just to add it in there in the conversation, you know, just to try to get a feel. And though, I mean, we have time, you know, but from what we understand, we'll have a choice. The other part, just as a caveat, it is according to business need, though. So
very true, very true. We don't get to just go to Mars. We have to go to wherever is needed. That is true.
Right. So I might pick public sector, but they may say the business need is in, I don't know, enterprise or whatever the case may be. So but,
you mean your second pick? That would be really convenient.
I'll put it out there for anybody that's watching, like, hey there.
I'm just here to say, if anybody wants me, I'm here for enterprise. Just saying. All right, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm trying to think the next time, what's at the end of November? I guess we're going to be all set for the end of November. There's not really a big event coming up, right? I mean, beyond the RTP trip next week, but there's not like a big test or whatever. So I think we're all set.
Not to my knowledge, I believe end of November, beginning of December, I believe is our ARP3, our assess roleplay, our third one.
Is it beginning or is it the end of December? Because I thought it was the week before Christmas vacation.
Oh, it's okay. So
because if you count out, because it's like every 7 weeks is a phase, right? And if you count out, because this is week 14, if you count out 7 weeks, I think it's the week before we leave for holiday break.
So there you go. So that was the last one before we head out. Okay. Well, then that would make sense, because normally after an ARP is, you know, because they know we're high stressed at that point, and so they give us a breather. So that would make sense.
That would make sense. So yeah, we'll be back. All right. Ciao, ciao, everybody.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys.